Good day and welcome to the Prime Feed News. Political parties on Wednesday had mixed reaction to the postponement of Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana's budget speech, as parties in the Government of National Unity could not find consensus on the proposal to increase VAT by 2%, which would have raised it to 17%. The executive decided to adjourn and postpone the sitting to March 12 to allow enough time to reassess the budget. The cabinet decided not to come and do a presentation of the budget and allow themselves enough time to relook the budget and come back to this House in March. However, the opposition parties in government bemoaned the executive for failing to agree on the contents of the budget speech. EFF leader Julius Malema described the decision as disgraceful and shameful, saying it exposes the utter incompetence of the National Treasury and the so-called GNU. Parliament Speaker Thoko Didiza said the proposed 2% increase in VAT was just one of many issues that could not be agreed upon. While today, we have been gathered here to have the Minister of Finance to present the budget to the House, that there has not been agreement in terms of parties in the executive to find one another in proposals of the budget. Malema said the postponement of the budget was not a sign of democracy, maturity, or consultation, adding that it was a symptom of weak, indecisive, and opportunistic governance that has left millions of South Africans uncertain about their future. The MK party said this unprecedented budget postponement, never witnessed in South Africa's democratic history, was undeniable proof that President Cyril Ramaphosa and his ANC were not in control. Build One South Africa leader Musi Maimane said the postponement was a historic and deeply troubling moment for our democracy. Maimane said it was an undeniable demonstration of the chaos within the so-called GNU, exposing its lack of a coherent vision for the country.
The budget were printed. The minister's speech was added to Parliament's auto queue. But as Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana was set to deliver the budget, Speaker Thoko Didiza said he would not go ahead. In an afternoon of high drama, President Cyril Ramaphosa called an urgent cabinet meeting, but the Democratic Alliance insisted it could not support a budget that included a 2 percentage point VAT hike. As a result, cabinet pulled the plug on Wednesday's address.
What we're grappling with is not necessarily the 2% per se. What we're grappling with, given the challenges and priorities that we're facing, how do we fund them?
Despite the unprecedented delay in tabling the budget that spells out how government would earn revenue and spend public funds, DA leader John Steenhuisen sought to downplay tensions in the coalition government.
Today is a very good example of how it's working. You have a variety of parties sitting around a table deciding on the way forward for the country. That includes voices that have not necessarily been around a cabinet table before. Bear in mind, it was a budget crisis that brought the German coalition to an end. Here we have a different situation. Here we have the GNU sitting with its finance minister, having a rational and reasonable discussion with each other.
The move, never seen before in South Africa, raised the wrath of opposition parties. Many say this is indicative of the failure of the GNU.
You are now subjecting the budget of South Africa to party politics, when the budget is supposed to be above party politics. Let the budget be presented here and let Parliament decide that this is the decision that we are taking as Parliament, or whether to accept or not. You cannot come here and say confidently that the parties in the executive are not agreeing. What is that? We don't have parties in the executive. We've got the executive.
Government insists that the clashes over the proposed budget did not pitch the DA against the ANC. Despite the moves to allay concerns about the stability of the Government of National Unity, the Finance Minister has conceded that they were grappling to find ways to fund South Africa's enormous public spend. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I am Conita Hunter.